Alrighty, you wanna count us down for the clap?
We don't have to clap this time. Hey everybody, it's the
God.
SAF podcast.
Oh, you gonna be hosting?
I think there's room enough for two on this tango.
Alrighty.
There can only be one.
Alright.
Oh man, no. The hosting job is yours. Step up and retrieve your prize, Mr. Sterling. Come on down.
All right.
See what's behind mystery door number 1, 2, and 3.
All right. Okay. So, welcome back, dear listener or listeners or listenettes. Today it's just the two of us. We have Josiah Campbell. Who are you, Josiah Campbell?
I'm flattered that you're using my middle name as my last name.
Yeah.
But, no, I am the AV guy for the Hypest fan group. I come around and whenever you guys need a TV in the classroom, I just wheel it right in. And for some reason, every fourth or fifth time, the DVD player isn't working. And so instead of actually fixing the problem, I request a new one from the school's budget, thus by raising your taxes.
Yep. This is true.
Oh, and while I'm not delivering TVs, I'm basically just playing Pokemon Yellow in my storage room.
Wow, that's too real. And we have me, Sterling Silver, as your host. You know me as Sterling Silver. I guess we should say what the homework is, and then we'll get into our weeks. So, the homework was what, Josiah?
It was. Give me a second. I remember the name. It's Idle Defense Force Hummingbird, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
From 1993 to 1995. All right. We'll get into that in about 30 to 40 minutes from now. Depending on how long we talk about our weeks, but I guess I will start with my week. Is that okay with you, Josiah?
Go right ahead.
All right. Let me see. I have watched a lot of movies in the past 2 weeks. And I neglected to tell you some of the ones that I watched 3 weeks ago on that last podcast.
Oh, wait, if I can interrupt, Sterling. I wanted to just make a formal announcement as one of the, I guess you would call me a co-curator of this podcast now, and one of the most faithful members
yes,
since season 2. That, unfortunately, we have had a falling out and lost one of our dearest guests, and one of the founding members, in fact. Mr. Isaac left us this last week with no explanation. Well, he just walked out the door.
He told me that he had a lot of work. He got back into work. Oh, jeez. And
told him I was bad for him.
And every time he has free time, it's just him sleeping and with his puppo. I'm like, all right, I guess that's good enough for me to accept that as a excuse. So,
well, I'm glad he told someone and not someone else, or just put it in the group chat before he left.
Yep. Yeah, I had to come breaking down his door saying, yo, what's up? And yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, he will be missed. Alrighty. So anyway, when I was
Back to your week, Sterling. I'm sorry for interrupting.
I watched. I don't know. I watch a lot of series of movies, like movies that have like lots of multiples to them, like Shaft and all that good stuff, you know. Last 3 weeks ago, I watched Basket Case movies.
Oh yeah,
all 3 of them. The first one is surprisingly good. Like, I'm very surprised that it's good for being what it is, which is like a classic B movie, maybe even below that, but even that, it's still pretty good. I would recommend it 100%. And then the next 2 movies are pretty much different kinds of movies. I would say that they're like, the first one is basically a thriller / slasher movie.
Yeah, suspense.
And the next 2 movies are basically freak shows and, hey, look what we can do with these puppets and costume designs. And that's basically about it. But
well, after the first one, the cat's out of the bag. I mean, or the basket.
Yeah, the tumor's out of the basket. Very fun movies. The 2 movies that come after the first one are a little bit here and there with. If you wanted the first one, then you're not going to get much there. But if you like what you saw with the first one and little aspects of costume design and stuff like that, then I'm pretty sure you'd like the 2 next films. And yeah, like, they're pretty much the highlight of that week. And then I watched Punisher Warzone again because I needed my Punisher juices flowing through me again. And yeah, it's still one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time, almost. If not for something that I watched this last 2 days, but I'll get to that later.
Well, it had to be in the last 2 days. Well, I mean, the last 3 days technically, because the day counts. But
yeah, Punisher Warzone, for being just very gruesome and gory and all that Punisher goodness that you need. It was like, I kind of forgot about it because I only seen it in the movies with my dad like a long time ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was the best. And then, like, I never really watched it ever again, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it right now. And then I did, and it was good, and I liked it. All right. And then after that, oh boy, I remember those movies, but nothing else. Let me see here. I did watch, I think, another scary movie. Well, quote unquote scary movie. But whatever, I guess I can't remember. I freaking seen Civil War, Captain America. Oh boy. I think this is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies of the past 800 years.
It's better than Avengers 2, hands down.
Yeah. Like, I liked Avengers 2, but it was still kind of hokey and like, that whole love scene with the Hulk and like, and Black Widow and then Hawkeye's family, and like, okay, I guess. Like that. Like, my favorite character being Ultron not being well deserved recognition in its own movie. But whatever. It was still fine. I had to find time with the second movie, but fudge all that. Freaking Civil War, Captain America.
Yeah, somehow the Captain America films are doing the best out of all the Marvel universe. Like, all three of the movies are spectacular.
Yep. Like, I saw the first Captain America, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good. And then the second Captain America, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good. And then Captain America Civil War, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good. Like, wow, what the fudge? Like, I guess the highlight of the whole thing is pretty much two of them, which is the plot. Well, yeah, I would say the plot and the action. Like, really, like, that's pretty much about it, and that's all you kind of really need about with all that. The two cameos, well, there, I would say about maybe 4 cameos, but the two that actually mattered that you never seen before, which was Black Panther and Spider-Man. Very, very, very great. Like, hands down, some of the best cameos I've seen that don't have their own movie yet, and they're
Wow,
pretty
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is my favorite Spider-Man of all time, movie form. That one right there, the best I've ever seen, hands down.
Well, I like
Tobey
how
Maguire
they did his
was good,
um,
and then whatever was the Amazing Spider-Man one,
mhm.
Jerry Maguire, whatever you want to call him.
I mean, Tobey Maguire.
No, the other dude.
Oh,
The Amazing Spider-Man one.
yeah,
I forget
yeah.
about him because
not Tobey
you should
Maguire.
be forgetting about. Yeah. But yeah, this Spider-Man is the best portrayed Spider-Man I've seen on screen to date.
You know why that is, Sterling?
Why?
It's because they did his origin story in 15 minutes in another movie.
Oh boy.
'Cause- I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't know, there's a new Spider-Man coming out soon.
Uh-huh.
Let this movie remind you several times. But no, it was great. I'm liking young, hot Aunt May too.
But yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like, there's nothing really to talk about it if you want to go into spoilers, but I don't really think.
No spoiler cast yet. We're gonna try and get in a third before we do that spoiler
But
cast.
just have you seen Batman v Superman yet?
I've seen some of it.
What do you mean, some of it?
I may or may have not gotten a digital copy, and I may or may have not fallen asleep while attempting to watch said digital copy.
Oh boy.
But we'll get.
boy.
I'll explain more when my week comes around. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that was pretty much about it for movie-wise, even though I just can't remember most of them because 2 to 3 games took up the whole entire time I was away from this podcast.
Oh, did you finally get Sakura Clicker?
Oh yeah, of course, yes. I gotta click them Sakuras. But no. Dark Souls 3, I beat it, and then I beat it again. But this time I'm staying within the second playthrough because you can do that. That's a choice. And that's what I chose because I recently got online stuff for the PS4. the PlayStation Go. I forget what is this called. I don't know. I don't care. But I only got 1 month because my cousin, she coerced me into doing so that I can play with her online with Dark Souls. I'm like, fine. Whenever I can get to a good online place, I'll get on and we can do stuff in there. That's what I've been doing with that. And oh boy, like, it's no Dark Souls 1, but it's my favorite to go back to, because none of the other Souls games, like Bloodborne including, they've never really held my attention for more than one playthrough. Like, I always got into the second playthrough and then stopped like maybe like a fourth in or like a halfway in. I was like, yeah, this is alright, yeah. I think I had my fill. But Dark Souls 3 is on the side of being very accessible in the way of it being a little bit easier, but also in the way that you can pass it in like 2 to 3 days and still be like, yeah, I want to do this again, and I want to fight all these bosses again. And then coupled with that, with the online interaction of putting down your sign to help others, is like the best feeling I've ever had. Like in Dark Souls 1, I did that and I was like, it's, at that time it was kind of like at that point where everybody already was at like playthrough number 89 or whatever, and I was stuck on the first playthrough. I'm like, okay, fine. But since I was on like the hiatus or whatever we want to call it, like the hype train for 3, and got it right then and there, and then through my cousin coercing me to get online stuff, I'm like, alright, has been the best experience I've had with the Dark Souls I've played in quite some time. And yeah, some of the best bosses I've ever played with and played against are in that game. Oh my gosh. Other than that, the Neo demo, NIOH, came out about 2 weeks ago and ended about Wednesday of last week. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. I cannot say enough praises for this game. I cannot do it justice, but I will say that my time with Neo, all the way back to the first trailer. The first trailer came out. I was like, what's this? What is this thing here? Is this a Ninja Gaiden game, but samurais for the PS4? Okay, alright. I'll see what's up with this. And then the next trailer comes around like about 3 to 5 months later, and it's released as a Dark Souls clone, quote unquote clone. And I was like, Dark Souls clone? Come on, guys. Don't do that. That's not the way. Your Ninja Gaiden-esque characterization of action-y gameplay is the best. Why you gotta go the way of Dark Souls? I mean, Dark Souls is great, but you don't have to go down to their level to be great as well. Just go out on your own. And then I was kind of saddened by that news, and it kept on coming and kept on coming. Like, man, it's a Dark Souls clone. Oh, jeez. And Like, it kept on coming, and then it was announced that a demo was going to be released. Like, well, I guess I'll try it, because I really hope it's not so much Dark Souls. And then I tried it, and freaking who told them that it was a Dark Souls clone? Because it freaking is not at all, except for like minor things that you could consider as Dark Souls inspired, but not a clone. Like, oh my gosh. Is it ever a Ninja Gaiden game, but with samurai and has an RPG mechanics towards it? And it is the best game that I've played in quite some time. Mm-hmm. Not since Strider 2014 have I played a game that has brought me back into loving games so much. Like, oh boy. But the caveat, this is an alpha demo. Well, quote unquote alpha.
Yeah. Didn't really look like an alpha to me.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, they redefine those terms every day. So.
Yep. Some of the gameplay things might be changed, might be tweaked. Some of that stuff might get to an executive or somebody in the higher ups and say, yeah, we gotta change this. And so far from what I've played, I think about 98% of it should not be changed at all. Which I really hope some of that stuff is set in stone, but if not, then, you know, at least I played one of the best demos I've ever played in my life. But yeah, I played that. I haven't really played it as much as I wanted to, only because I passed the 2 demos that came, because you pass the first demo and then it gives you a code or whatever, like a little thing to say, oh, you can do the next demo of this thing. I'm like, ooh, okay. And then I played that one to completion, and I think I got around maybe 50 to 70-ish hours of gameplay.
Oof.
About. I think a little bit more than a normal person would put into a demo, but still, like from April 25th, 25, 23, around there to May 5th, I think that was an okay estimate of time spent on it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. I really hope nothing's changed, and yeah, that was the highlight of my gaming experience, and pretty much the only 2 games that I played, Dark Souls 3 and Neo. The third game that I played, which was back to nostalgia stuff, which was Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is pretty good. Like, that's really all I have to say about it. Like, there's nothing bad about it, except maybe for some story elements that are kind of like fast forwarding through the whole plot. I'm like, oh, okay, alright, whatever. But that doesn't even matter. It's the gameplay that matters, and the gameplay is pretty much unchanged since the first game. Since this is a remake of the first game, basically. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say about Ratchet and Clank. Although, Ratchet and Clank the movie is a waste of time. Because what Ratchet and Clank the movie is what Ratchet and Clank the game 100% is.
So instead of making a game after the movie, This time they're just trying to weasel money out of you by making a movie after the game.
Yep. And not only that, it's pretty much 1-by-1 ratio of what the cutscenes in Ratchet and Clank the game is to Ratchet and Clank the movie. They're the same cutscenes, but in the movie form. I'm like, wow, okay, all right, that's cool. I guess you can say that this is pretty much the best movie to game licensing ever made, because it doesn't stray away from the material. So yeah. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit Final Fantasy stuff here and there. Nothing too much. Those 3 games took up my time. I did play Mad Max because I borrowed it from a friend that let me borrow a Ratchet and Clank game, because I ain't going to spend money on that. Yeah, like about 15 minutes in, I kind of got the whole gist of what this Mad Max game was trying to be. And yeah, I guess. It's a very stereotypical standard WB license gaming thing. In the same way as Batman Arkham Asylum and all that stuff, and Shadow of Mordor. It's pretty much the same exact kind of game, but with cars. Ooh, and yeah, ooh, okay.
And dust storms and
and lots of planes. Ooh, oh boy. Yeah, I could do away with it. I was kind of excited with the announcement trailer of the game. I was like, oh hey, they're finally making the game. Oh, it's Batman Arkham Asylum combat stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, but with cars. Oh, okay. I can. Oh, it's not really very good cars. Oh, okay. That's about it. It's not worth my time, but if you like it, it's what you like. I don't like that kind of game. Other than that, oh yeah, I almost forgot the best parts. Well, maybe 6 parts, I guess you could say, that I've been reading. I finally got into reading a mango again after like 5 to 6, 7 years of not reading a manga ever again because of reasons. I've been reading Stone Ocean Part 6 of JoJo. I'm about 7 books in, and I'm really liking it so far.
I think you mean volumes, 7 volumes in.
Sure, I guess you can call it that. But yeah, what I do have to say is that some people that I've been talking with that have been into JoJo, have read JoJo, like they say that this is the weakest one, and I can kind of tell where like it can be considered as such, but since this is my first time reading a JoJo from an anime perspective of only seeing JoJo in motion of that caliber, and having some of that like over evaluation of what's on screen that could be left unsaid because it's freaking on screen. I can see what's happening. In manga form, it makes sense that the way that they tried to like make sense of it all through like 1 picture or 3 panels or stuff like that. It makes sense to go over the top with explaining everything that's happening in that situation, and that's good. That's what I expected. And in the way of writing and how things are brought about is a little bit more questionable in the way of being contrived, in the way of how some assumptions are goodness to know truth. Like 100% you should know that now because you assumed that that happened. Like, alright, okay. like pretty much a part in which I guess they were fighting Foo Fighter, the freaking amoeboid, whatever you want, plankton guy, and Jolene did something where she assumed this character didn't need water, although in the last panel only one character knew that enemy stand, quote unquote, needed water to do his thing. All of a sudden Jolene now knows that they don't need water. I'm like, okay, I guess I can see through that if that person yelled loudly enough, but you know, whatever.
I mean, it's JoJo, they yell everything. I mean,
but yeah, but besides that, I'm having really fun with it. Like, this is one of the ones that, like, I've been just like going through pages and pages and pages and like, oh my gosh, I can't stop, I won't stop. Like, I haven't done that since like Berserk, and
you know what happened with that one? I'm just excited to see if you'll follow through and read the best part of JoJo, part 7.
Well, I don't know, maybe
it's like part 4 but better and has cowboys.
But isn't part 7 a race as well across America?
Supposedly, yes.
Supposedly. Okay. Other than that, no, nothing else. I just I didn't really make any extreme endeavors and towards freaking Symphogear, which yeah. So what's up with your week, Josiah?
Oh, it's my turn now.
Yep.
In just a second, I've got to open up another beer. There you go. That's some good audio for you. All right. Now, let me start off with the weekly animes I've been keeping up with.
Alrighty.
We're getting pretty deep. We're halfway through the season now, with most series having 6 episodes, a full season being 12 episodes. As far as broadcast date, not as much as series length. And so everything is looking pretty great, and I bet if you guys were listening to the Super Best Friends cast that you know that Ace Attorney finally got out of its cocoon and spread its wings like a butterfly. Because after failing to even animate a simple run cycle, which I thought was odd in the beginning, in the opening, credits, I initially thought, okay, that's just odd, I didn't really care about it. It's an OP, I can skip it,
Yep.
And after that, they have surprisingly somehow went to art school and come back with valuable skills.
Oh, yeah.
In less than a week's time.
Great. So how different is it? Like, is it very noticeable? Like,
yes, the jury for the first couple episodes is like the CGI like Duplo
like,
people.
is there anything that you can compare it to? Like something, like, I don't know, like anything that you can compare it to? Because I have an idea of how changed it got, but I'm not too sure about that.
Well, okay, it's like Dragon Ball Z Super. which started out, as you remember, people slamming the animation in the beginning and showing you
Yeah.
the terrible transitions. And now it's bearable. It's been bearable for a long time. That's why I haven't seen any stuff on it lately.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like that. It went from supremely subpar for a very popular series to, oh, okay, this is the industry standard. We can live with this now. Put away your pitchforks, people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't like a giant jump. It didn't get to be like Cabaneri like style or anything like that. I mean, it's not like a painted masterpiece, but at least it's up to par now. Which I mean, a series based off a video game, I can forgive those sins on the early days. Like it's I mean like there's only like 4 or 5 different scenes they have in each episode. Like it's I mean, as far as cost effectiveness, I'm sure that they are always going to go for the cheaper
pretty
options.
sure the reason, like, this is just an amalgamation of my mind going through the things of they're going to animate a lawyer doing his lawyer things.
You mean the top half of the lawyer?
Yeah, that's about it. Like, yeah, well, the animation doesn't look like it would be amazingly great for something like that, but I guess.
Yeah, the only other complaint that I have that's still going on is that like our main character Naruhodo or Phoenix Wright, he's thick for some reason. Like he just looks thicker than he does in like not fat, but like just like broader shoulders, broader chest. Like, just not as thin as he looked like in the games. Like, it's just weird sometimes to look. And I'm kind of hoping they fix that eventually. Because it just, like, when I first started watching Ace Attorney, I was just like, what? Like, because, I've seen, like, a million memes and a million screenshots and, like, a couple playthroughs of some of the games, And so, I never picked one up myself. But I at least knew what it's supposed to look like. And so that just gave me the cringe a little early on, and still does a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, that one's going by pretty good. Bungo Stray Dogs. This is the one made by the Mirai Nikki team. That has it's the Gifted, quote unquote.
Wait, this
anime.
is what's its English title? It's like very easy, isn't it? It's like Big Deal or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't know there was an English title.
The one with the stands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's like Big Deal, something like that.
Well,
Like
it has to have
easy.
Stray Dogs in it because Stray Dogs is like already in English in the title. Like.
Yeah, but like the English counterpart is something along the lines of Big Deal. I'm like, oh, okay.
Regardless, so it is getting a little bit out of the stereotypical box, which is nice, and it's not focusing on the somewhat Mary Jane of a main character, which is also nice. You're getting to meet the side characters now after they introduced Mr. Mary Jane himself and showed you, hey, I'm a Mary Jane. And then they're like, oh, hey, look, more interesting people than this guy. And I'm like, hooray, let's go on. And so that's going by pretty good. It just had its 6th episode as well. Let's see. Its OP and ED are decent. Not really anything to write home about, though.
It's not Mirai Nikki quality.
No, it doesn't have German. It doesn't have Japanese people trying to sing opera in German. Unfortunately. Let's see. Assassination Classroom Season 2. Or should I say the final season, which is what it changed to last week in the actual, opening title shot, which is amazing because I'm glad that they didn't try and drag it out to a 3rd season. That would kind of be terrible. since they haven't really had any filler at all in this series, which is amazing for an anime these days. Of course, there were only 110 chapters to this, the manga, and so it is a very easy.
And you've read that too?
Yes, I've already finished it, and
is it going the same path from the anime? Okay.
Oh yes, 100% of the way. There may have been one or two places where they left out like details or like skipped something that wasn't like extremely important in the anime, but like it wasn't plot heavy or anything like that. It was like a either just like a side story or something like that didn't really need to happen. And so, I mean, that's fine. The anime's been doing great. Probably if this finishes up pretty strongly, which I hope and expect it to do, it'll probably be the best adaptation from manga to anime that I've ever seen.
All right.
But, so that's going great. If you don't know what Assassination Classroom is, just look it up. It's Crazy Squid Immortal Teacher versus his students on the remedial class that are poised to kill him before the end of the year when they graduate, or else he will destroy the earth. And does that sound cheesy? Yes. Is it really cheesy? Yes. Do you need to see this? Yes.
All right.
So I will make sure to let you know once this ends, Sterling, so you can put out that on your next poll.
Hopefully,
whatever
by then
that is.
I will finish Sinful Gear by then.
Okay, and then the big front runner, Boku no Hero Academia, is chugging along. It's also been pretty faithful to the manga. We've been introduced to the extended cast for this beginning arc so far, and everything is moving along great. They are doing their assessment of their quirks, their superhero abilities that make them gifted or special, and they are having their first tests with their homeroom teacher to evaluate such skills. So it is a big showcase showing who can do what, and who you really don't care about.
All right.
And let's see here. My favorite Duwong is great. Again, so far, it's just like any other JoJo. It's going great. Nothing else to say about it. I mean,
all right,
you should already be watching it. Anybody who's listening to this podcast, so I'm not gonna, no reason. Ushio Tutora is coming up to its climax here, which will either be at the end of this season in the next 6 episodes, or it might take another 12. I'm not too sure. It's been around a decade since I read that manga. And so it's also been sticking very closely to its source material. There have been a couple things here or there that have been off, but so far, pretty good, especially for a manga that was written back in like 81. It's been pretty well received. The opening and ending songs are great, spot on, fast metal, like rock opera things, and so that's been great. Gives me some pretty good workout music. See here. Dragon Ball Super just ended a tournament arc, so we will see what happens. I haven't downloaded today's new episode. It hasn't come out yet. It usually comes out right after we finish the podcast.
So how many episodes have there been out so far for
Dragon Ball Super? This will be the 42nd episode.
Wow.
Yep.
They're chugging along quick.
Yeah, I know. Toriyama's been busy, man.
He should be.
Yeah. And one of the fights in the tournament was really bad, and was really bastardized from the source material, and it was just like, really, you're gonna do this? Okay, it was actually the first fight in the tournament was just terrible.
Ooh,
but
boy.
money.
Money.
Let's see. Oh yes, Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress is chugging along as well, literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
Trains the game. But so we are getting, we're kind of just establishing our stay along characters in this so far. Kind of touched on some of the extended casts, and I just want to point out that there's an engineer on the train that has a powdered wig and says things really loudly in English, and it's great. A shout out to that guy. I don't think they've given him a name yet. But he is making my day every time I see him.
Good.
Let's see, what else? I think that is it. I mean, One Piece is still chugging along. Naruto Shippuden still doing stupid things. As far as that goes, it's just about everything to report.
So anything?
The next Digimon Try should be coming up here in another month or so. So I'm gonna be excited on that, since they left it on a big cliffhanger like they always do.
So anything in game wise or nothing like that?
Game wise, I've been hitting up the Minecraft every once in a while, like I usually do. But besides that, not too much. I just got notified this last week that I'm going to be a groomsman in a wedding in less than a month, and so I had to go out and buy some new pants, a new shirt, and a bow tie, and some suspenders. So, I've been kind of busy shopping around, getting stuff like that. I didn't spend too much on it. I think I spent like less than $40 for all that. So
that's fine.
I got a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I went to a couple different stores. But let's see. Besides that, I'm having to arrange travel because one of my friend's birthdays is actually they're having a party 30 miles away from where the wedding's going on the day before the wedding, and so I'm still trying to get everything situated on that because I'm helping plan that as well. So it's just kind of all the hullabaloo is coming up.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to a wedding. I haven't been a part of a wedding since like a year ago around this time. So, and then I have another wedding near the end of June as well. So, hopefully they just I have to wear the same thing because I know I'm going to be a groomsman in that ceremony as well. Because the one getting married first is a twin, an identical twin, and the other one's getting married later that month. So, hopefully they have the same requirements for me for clothing, so I don't spend too much. Besides that, like I said, I fell asleep watching Superman versus Batman.
So what part did you fall asleep with? And
when Lex Luthor was introducing.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Mr. Wayne and Mr. Clark Kent.
So, I got a question. What did you think about the first scene?
Well,
the first scene with which, of course, was Bruce Wayne going in Metropolis or whatever.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just
you're just recollecting your thoughts, or just
I'm trying to collect my thoughts on that. I didn't necessarily think it was bad. I didn't think it was great either. I don't know. I kind of went into a big skewed. Well, obviously it's skewed because I didn't see most of the movie, but as far as my thought process coming in, it's really hard because my brother is a die-hard Batman fan. And he's read every single Batman comic that's probably touched this earth. And so he was very much telling me why this was not a terrible movie before I attempted to see it. And so so I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt and trying hard to listen to him, but also trying to remember that I need to think objectively.
Yes.
And so that was kind of an eternal conflict that eventually put me to sleep.
Because what I remember from it is that
that's a good that is a good sentence right there. From what I remember, implying that you don't remember parts of it.
Actually, I think I remember all of it. Yeah. But anyway, the first scene, like I went into it going like, oh, this is gonna be bad. So I had my like I went into it going in with low expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw the first scenes, like with Bruce Wayne and all that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually kind of cool. And then everything else came after. And oh boy.
Oh boy. Have you been watching that Dark? That's what I wanted to ask you earlier too. What you're doing? Have you been watching the Dark Souls playthrough?
Yeah.
I just love that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh. And now I'm starting to do that at work too, and I'm like, I can't explain it to normies. Like,
yeah.
And I've been doing it in the gym too. I've been doing it everywhere. Man.
But yeah, so you only watched up until that point in which Lex Luthor actually introduced Superman and Batman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, he went like, oh, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. Oh, what a funny thing, or whatever.
Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, watch the rest of it, because it only gets good after that. But yeah,
I don't know. I kind of just don't want to watch it now because of all the things that other people said and that grilling that my brother gave me. I want it to be. Have you seen Cloverfield Lane?
Nope.
Oh, okay, and I can't make that reference. Okay, then let me make one similar. That universally works. So basically, now all I want to do is when I am hiding in a bunker from whatever nuclear fallout happens, I want there to be a copy of this movie there so I can watch it at that time, because that's about the best time that I would be able to, or actually the only time that I would be able to willingly watch this without some sort of very attractive member of the opposite sex asking me if I want to watch that on the same couch as her. And even then, I might question whether I even want to be seen with her if she's wanting me to watch this movie.
That's, oh boy.
And there's only one thing that probably disappoints me more, and that's probably the homework.
Oh wow, okay. So this homework
no, I'm not done with my week.
Oh really?
Yes, of course. Alrighty. I saw Civil War, man. And we're not going to get into too much spoilers, but like we said in the group chat earlier yesterday, I would give this this is definitely this movie is definitely a Paul Rudd out of 10.
Yes, I agree.
In my book. I think it's probably the best Marvel movie so far. Of course, I do love Deadpool, and Marvel did have a hand with that, but I mean, like, universally, because Deadpool's definitely not for everybody. This is universally the best Marvel movie so far. And I am excited to see what they have coming up next. And also, before this, I saw the newest trailer for Suicide Squad.
Oh, there's a new trailer?
Well, the newest one. Let me put it that way.
The third one, then?
Yes, the third one. Because I hadn't seen it yet, because, again, I had acquired a copy of Batman vs. Superman.
Okay.
And didn't see it in theaters, so...
Yes.
It is... No, and so this trailer was admittedly not as cringy as the second trailer, so I was very happy about that, and it may have put a little bit of sparkle of hope in my heart.
Uh-huh.
Way down, deep somewhere in there. Well, I think it's primarily because they cut out a lot of the Harley Quinn scenes they put in the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about like what's up with Harley Quinn's acting. I'm just going by acting. That she kind of feels a bit like
forced. Stereotypical.
Every time she's on screen acting,
she has to make a one-liner.
She has to say something that I have to close my eyes and think happy thoughts about, and then.
It's like, hey, did you guys know I'm a villain? And I'm a girl? I'm a girl villain. Did you know that? Funny one-liner. Girl villain. That's how that second trailer goes.
Yep.
Verbatim.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I was always hopeful from the first trailer. But then after... watching this new Batman v Superman, I'm like kind of and then hearing that just because Deadpool got great stuff reviewed and like, oh, we got to get back to the drawing board and put in more scenes of something. Like,
I gotta tell you, it's probably not gonna be violence. It's gonna be another thing.
And yeah, I just. I'll watch it because I kind of really want to see it. I want to see what's up with all this Suicide Squad hype that I'm feeling deep inside my soul. And I'm probably going to be disappointed. But, that's on me.
Let's see, what else did I do with my last 2 weeks? Not much. The Washington Post did produce a funny article about how they claimed that they had killed the meme, that frog meme, that boy.
That boy.
Yeah, and yet he has only risen from the ashes stronger than ever. I mean, what up? If you haven't noticed from Isaiah Isaacs and my constant posting of that in the Hypest, it is still very much alive and still being memed the crap out of every day.
Yep. Some say Me Gusta is still being memed today.
That's a lie.
In the wrong way.
On live television.
Oh boy. All right. So is that your week?
Yes, that's my week.
Alrighty. Let's get started with the homework. Let's say out front that Puni Puni Poemi was your recommendation. And my recommendation.
Not my recommendation.
Well, like you
I never recommended it to us. I chose
homework.
It was my choice. My assignment.
Your assignment. And this was befuddled upon me. The choice that I went with was from a GIF that I seen years ago, and I said, "Hey, what's that?" Oh, that's that thing? Oh, okay, I think I can watch this. And it's called Idle Defense Force Hummingbird from 1993 to 1995. So first off, this is directed by Kiyoshi Murayama. It's Murayama, who also worked on Blue Seed, an OVA that you might know, maybe not. It's a fairly recognizable blockbuster video that you would see here and there. He worked on Macross. He has worked on Zoids. Oh gosh.
Which season?
Has worked on Ninja Robots. And he has worked on Love Hina. Oh boy.
Everybody worked on Love Hina, okay? That's not a big accomplishment. Like literally half, at least 75% of the people that we works we review has some tie to Love Hina. It's like the Kevin Bacon of the anime world.
Yeah, this is true. And a whole lot of other things. So, also, has to be noted that this is an OVA. It's one of those OVAs that has, like each year they kind of were like, hey, what's on the list that we haven't finished yet? Oh, this? Oh, okay. I guess we can work on this. Not pay attention to what we worked on before. Okay. So, 1993, 1994, and 1995, all the 3 years worked on one episode from September 1, 1993. The second episode was June 1st, 1994, like pretty much almost a whole year later. Well, not really, almost. The third episode, June 1st, this is one whole year later, and it shows 1995. And the fourth episode, which was about June, July, August, September, November, December, October, about 7 years later, and yeah, it's just one of those OVAs that kind of get like, oh, I guess we can work on this. We have enough time, whatever. And it really shows, like, pretty much some character designs and designs themselves are changed over the course of episodes. Stuff like that. You know, the basic kind of OVAs that you expect from the 90s, early 90s at least. So, what did you think about it, Josiah?
Well, I've never been one to like anything idle besides something that's really dry and obviously a parody of it.
Yeah.
And so let me just say that before I say anything else.
So do you like Hatsune Miku?
They don't have an anime for that.
I'm pretty sure there's an OVA of some sort.
Well, it's like music videos.
Or like a TV short.
Well, there's commercials too. Like the storyline for Hatsune Miku and the rest of the Vocaloids are all in their product placements. Like literally, that's where their backstories come from, basically.
Yeah.
But that's different.
Yeah.
Okay. No, idols in anime, in actual anime.
Yes.
I despise.
The rice fields.
It's
So you despise this as well?
I would. Okay, despise is a hard word. Okay, because I'll admit it is watchable. I'll admit that it isn't necessarily a bad story.
That can be. Well, go on.
But that doesn't mean it's a good story.
Uh-huh.
You know, that doesn't even mean that when someone was writing the script, they were thinking of a story.
This is true. Yes.
But it doesn't mean that it was unwatchable.
Uh-huh.
So I would say I give this a 4 out of 10. Just below the
Reasonable.
par.
Reasonable.
And I'm all for cheesy girl dramas.
Yes.
I used to watch them a lot when I was in high school. A lot of those animes. For my list, I like to tell you, Sterling, broke 400 after I updated it the other day.
Awesome.
So,
I'm only halfway
I got a
there.
badge and everything. But there's just something about being a fighter pilot and an idol that just made me throw up a little bit in my mouth.
All right.
So
is that your thoughts on it?
yeah, that's about as much as I want to put on the public
All right.
airwaves.
So, basically, what this whole plot, quote unquote, of Idle Defense Force.
Oh, there's
Hummingbird
plenty
is-
of plot, wink, wink.
Well,
especially in
in
that
the
one
second episode. What the plot is basically Japan's flight
fighting force.
defense. I forget. The super fighter stuff with jets and Cracker Jacks. Fighter pilots. All the fighter pilot defense of Japan in the late year of 2000XX. Japan just said, fudge it. Why don't we give it to civilians to work with? And they're like, okay. So it went to private companies and stuff like that, and pretty much just basically went on to say, hey, why don't we just fast forward to where all of a sudden now we got idols being fighter pilots. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. This could
Basically,
be
it's
fun.
like Tiger and Bunny, but not interesting.
And basically that's pretty much like what the whole thing is all set up about. Like, there's these idols who fly jets.
Let's be descriptive. They're
Period.
singing idols, okay? You know, like the TV stand up, dress in funny costumes, don't write their own music. Idols that are just made, just basically fillers so that people can sell merchandise and concert tickets.
And that's pretty much all you really need to know. It's basically if Jim and the Holograms were
Terrible.
all of a sudden all sisters.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like, they're all sisters. Like, their mom had like 5 kids.
Yep.
All girls. And then she's like, okay, now you're gonna be fighter pilots and idols. Go get them, girls.
Yep.
In fact, I think that's one of the scenes verbatim.
Yes. Pretty much the first episode. If you like Jim and the Holograms, if they were all sisters and they didn't have holographic powers,
They had
and
giant
they
fighter planes.
were instead fighter planes, specifically designed fighter planes that they pretty much hardly ever use. And that's basically about it. Now, I'm on the fence on, like, I'm exactly on the fence, but I'm on the fence of non-objectiveness, of subjective feeling of that I came out of this freaking loving everything about this thing. But I will say that this is not a very good anime. Everything that I loved is pretty much only because the music was the only thing that came off of this that made me feel happy and joy, mixed with their fighter jets destroying buildings and destroying other fighter jets, and it's like set to this 90s pop like synthesizer music with like Japanese vocals behind it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is funny and hilarious, and I love this. But I will 100% agree with what you stated with a 4 out of 10. I will 100% agree with that. But I loved it, and that's all I got. Like,
I really think we need to get more more objective reviewers on this program, because we tend to agree
yeah, I know,
a lot.
Right? Like, I agree with the objectiveness. Like,
Yeah.
yes, like 100%. But like, if I was like, I had nothing to watch and like this was like my only thing to watch, I'd go like, you know what? This ain't a bad time I'd have after all. Like,
If this was the only thing I had to watch, I would go outside with a video camera and make my own.
yeah. But pretty much, here, like, can you agree with me at least that the music was
the music was
only
good,
high
yeah.
point, and the designs and most everything of object-wise, not really character-wise, with some exceptions here and there, were pretty intricate, and design-wise was pretty good for its time.
Oh yeah, I mean the details were there. I mean they
Yep.
wore plenty of costumes that were really hard to draw.
And the animation, I think we can agree that it's pretty much 50-50 with being stale and boring, and then all of a sudden you get 5 seconds of, oh my gosh, they made that plane move in a direction I didn't know that they could. And then that's it. There's like stuff like that thrown around. I was like,
of course,
wow.
I've also got to give a disclaimer. I was watching a whole bunch of Yu Yu Hakusho in between watching this as well, just to cleanse my mind. I've been watching, just to also follow up on my week a little bit as well. I've gotten to, I just finished the tournament arc on Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, the second one or the first one?
I am, no, not the Genkai tournament. The Dark tournament. I am at Yu Yu Hakusho episode 66 right now, after starting it this last week. I kind of like Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh man,
just a little bit.
But yeah, like every time, every time the music started happening, and like that whole idol singing songs and stuff mixed with freaking war and military stuff, it gets my jimmies all rustled up in a good way, and I like that.
When they're shooting down planes and they're all singing simultaneously, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta raise my hands, I gotta walk around, do some couple of paces, like this is happening. Oh geez, this is so awesome. But yeah, those are pretty much like, from the second episode is where that kind of starts, where I'm like, oh, okay, this is where, okay. And then the third episode, like, literally nothing happens. And then the fourth episode,
You're not even kidding.
That's where, like, everything just blows up through the roof for me, with how that integration of idols and fighter pilots. And that's pretty much about it. Like, would you recommend this, Josiah?
No.
To anybody?
Well, if my friend was asking me, hey, buddy, Josiah, you've seen a lot of anime. I'm trying to Clockwork Orange this guy I really don't like. What should I make him watch? And I'm like, have you done SAO? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. then you make them do this.
For me,
No, that's really harsh. No, like I said, it's watchable. I really wouldn't recommend it to anyone mostly because this sort of genre is kind of dead for a reason now.
Yep.
Except for all the crappy moe bull crap from filthy casuals watch all the time and think that that's what Japan is like.
Yes.
Oh, I got another side story. I've got a. Well, I'll have a little tidbit to say after we finish this review as well.
Okay.
That you just remind me. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
But no, I would, unless I knew someone with your disposition for this sort of stuff, Sterling, I would not recommend this.
Yeah. And for me, since I know who I am.
Do you, though?
I don't know if I do completely.
We've both watched Evangelion enough times to know.
to know.
Do we really know?
Yeah, okay. I would recommend this to people who liked the 80s or lived in the 80s to the point of you like that type of those singers that from Bubblegum Crisis, animes, stuff like that. You like that kind of disposition of there's singers, rock and rule, that cartoon. If you like that cartoon, you might like this cartoon if you also grew up with Jim and the Holograms. And very specifically, if you don't mind fairly uncoordinated design choices throughout 3 years.
Yeah.
Because that mother, she changed shape like 3 times, and I'm like, wow, okay. The best
moms do that. Happy Mother's Day.
Yep. We're going to get to that in a bit.
And that was the Mother's Day quote of the week. Can you believe it? And okay, I'll make sure to add that in.
Okay.
1 minute 17.
And yeah, like very specifically, if you are not perturbed by such uncoordinated design choices and stuff like that, with fairly intricate like Macross designs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like you're into that kind of militarized stuff, but also you're into idol stuff before the time of the darkness.
Well, let me put it this way, okay? If you like young girls with no self-esteem who happen to be idols, and you really like intricate drawings of planes and said girls flying planes, then you'll like this show.
Probably. That's the caveat. Alrighty. So we came off Idol Defense Force Hummingbird with the same kind of objectification of scoring, which is a 4 out of 10.
So that was 4 Paul Rudds out of 10.
4 Paul Rudds out of 10. Let's see here. Since it is Mother's Day today, why don't we have a little question? Like a fairly easy to answer, maybe not really easy to answer because you might have to sift through some sites, but I have one question.
Yeah.
Who is the best mother in fiction? Who is one of the best mothers in fiction that you think it is or should be?
Well, let's see here. One of the best mothers. Well, Ironically or unironically?
Either.
Because ironically, since I just was all shut up about watching Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke's mom is pretty good as a mom.
Yeah.
Seeing as all she does is smoke and get drunk.
And saying that he has no friends.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's a doozy.
Say, who are you?
No. One of the best moms in fiction is gonna be It's gonna be Nagisa's mom from Clanad.
Clanad.
Because she does that whole thing with Suguru Sugimoto. I can't remember Tomiya's best friend, his name, the main character's best friend. But his girlfriend's mom, Nagisa's mom, dresses up like a 16-year-old, like the rest of them, to tell the main character's best friend and act like they're going out to impress his little sister, who's like 11 years old. And then,
wow, all right.
Nagisa's dad is super pissed about it.
All right.
And it's so great because he doesn't know what's going on, and that's a great scene.
All right. Well, my pick, excluding of course the second version of the hummingbird mother from Idle Defense Force, excluding that obvious choice.
Way too obvious.
I will have to go with Ellen Ripley from the Aliens franchise. Only because of that deleted scene from freaking Aliens, the second movie of the Alien quadrilogy. It might be a quintology this coming years, but we'll see about that. Basically just because she freaking does work. Like, she doesn't care about being told what not to do if it's goes against her morals or kinds of things. It's like, if that alien has Newt, she's gonna freaking get Newt back, you know? She's Louise. Even though that they mostly come out at night. Mostly. And
it's
yeah.
like continuously night there. It's like a night planet.
Yeah. But yeah, also a runner-up could be freaking Sarah Connor, which maybe not the best mom in the whole world, but is the only mom to produce the savior of the human race. So, you know.
Oh man.
So yeah, without further ado, what are you
what's
looking?
Naruto's mom's name?
Naruto? Does he have a mom?
Yes, he has a mom. He's born.
Well,
Yeah,
is it the Fox thing, or is that his
No,
father?
gosh, did you not? Yeah, it's,
I really
Kushina
do not
Uzumaki.
know.
Yeah, Kushina Uzumaki, her and his dad, the Yandame. I always forget his dad's actual name. I just know him as a fourth. And Minato. There you go. No, she died basically right after giving birth, protecting him. Like, she gets stabbed like right through the freaking chest cavity.
Great.
She was the Jinchuriki before Naruto. She was the one who held the fox before him.
Yeah, okay.
And she was weakened at birth. Fox pops out of birth because the seal goes like, whoops. No more power, just gave birth to Naruto. And then she's like, oh no. And then Minato's like, oh no. And then they're like, let's die together. And leave him fatherless and motherless.
So
but no,
what was
and
that
then
thing
she
that
saves himself. She saves a recording of herself in his mind. and it's pretty heart wrenching. But and she's just like Sakura. Spoilers.
So
the kids used to call it Tomato because she had red hair like a tomato. It was great.
Amazing.
When you see the flashback scenes, and Minato's like, "I'm gonna be cool like Sasuke." He's like, "I'm gonna save your life, even though you're just a tomato."
So what was that thing that you remembered, Josiah?
Oh yes, on a first-time segment, it's called Josiah Explores the Real World, and so while shopping for said wedding, I had to go to a mall that I hadn't been in a decade. Mostly because I live next to there's 2 malls in Tulsa. It used to be 3.
Alrighty.
One of them went out of business, and so there's only 2 now. And one of them's the biggest mall, in fact, in Oklahoma. And that was really nice and really well kept. And then there's the not so nice mall that has carpeting and is really run down and super small. But still has all the major department stores in it. And it also has a lot of weird shops in it. And so I live closer to the rundown mall, and I was around there yesterday, so I'm like, well, I couldn't find my size at the other store. Let me try the store here. And so I went to JCPenney's, and while trying to navigate my way to there, I found this amazing store called Dragon Home. And man, oh man, it was like the 100 yen shop met the swap meet from like a decade ago, where you see the booth with all the anime stuff.
Oh boy.
And then it had all these majestic like repercussion paintings or reproduced paintings.
Yep.
And then all these all the stuff you'd find on eBay as well, and like if you look up like cosplay stuff. But it was this huge store. Like it's like double the size of a Radio Shack.
Wow.
Filled to the brim with this stuff. And I was like, what is this? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to venture inside too much because the mall was closing. I plan to go back there soon to explore more thoroughly. But I may even make a video and post it on the Hypest. Because man, oh man, is that place just like a gold mine for...
Yep.
I will really want to see what kind of weird stuff I can find in there. Because, I mean, this is like a big... I mean, you don't understand, like, for this mall, like, all the stores are tiny. Like, literally all the stores except for, like, the except for, the the department stores. Like, all of them are really tiny. It's a really tiny mall. I mean, it barely even has a food court. Like, the food court is like an Auntie Anne's... or Aunt Annie's pretzels, an amazing American cookie, and then a couple like 2 or 3 actual restaurants. And so, but I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, I couldn't believe the sort of space they had with those sort of products. I just hope it's still there when I come back.
Alrighty.
But no, like, there's I suddenly remember why I hadn't stepped foot and why my parents hadn't stepped foot in this mall for like a decade. Because as soon as I came in, all I saw was like pink and blue hair, like gauges in the ears, like studded pants.
Wow.
And like a whole bunch of Hispanic families. And I don't mean to be insensitive like that, but I mean that was the truth. Like it was like half of Hispanic people there, and that's only because the old mall that got closed down about a decade ago, the Eastland Mall, that was their mall because they took over the east side. That's little like little Mexico's on the east side of Tulsa, and so I mean once their mall closed, they had to go somewhere else, and so. But no, it was, and the other thing too is those kiosks they always have, with like the gimmicky stuff and the cell phone straps and like, like the travel pillows and like the ones with like the custom T-shirts and stuff like that. There was like one person per 3 kiosks, just like running like 3 at a time. And I was like, how much traffic does this place even get? Like, I couldn't understand the business setting. But no. So I step foot in Dragon's home, and I plan to bring home something back to my home from the Dragon home. And oh man, it's like the sign for this store above the doors is like these like gold leaf letters, like the kind you find in like a home and house store, you know.
Yeah.
But like some of them are lowercase and some of them are like uppercase, and they're in like no like funny or quirky order. It's just like, oh, they didn't have this letter in lowercase, you know. Because like the R is capitalized and like the G is capitalized and it doesn't spell anything, or like you can't rearrange it because it's all just consonants.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. I want to know more. I've got to know more. Oh. And because it's just a couple miles from my house, it really piqued my interest. Because there used to be a couple stores like that, like just scattered around in like the ghetto parts of Tulsa.
Yeah.
And there used to be a place called Items Unlimited. And unfortunately, that place closed down before I was able to actually get inside of it, because it was in a freaking corner of Tulsa that I never really go to. And by the time I reached there, it was gone. It was already a tattoo parlor. But, so more to come with Josiah's adventures in real life.
Alrighty. So what are you looking forward to this coming week, Josiah?
I'm not quite sure. There's nothing really big coming out this week that I'm aware of. I mean, really, I don't think there is. I think it's we're in for a dry spell until June here, as far as American movies go.
You gonna watch Civil War again?
I'll probably see Civil War again, maybe 2-3 times in theaters. Because I know like X-Men Apocalypse that comes out in June, Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
comes out in June. Like there's nothing really big, because I mean the film's out right now besides Civil. I mean, Civil War didn't have any competition coming out, not at all. I mean that's how. I mean, The Jungle Book is all right. Don't get me wrong. Some people have said, so far the critics are like, okay, this is a pretty good Disney movie. Good job. CGI's done well. Good job. And so so I plan to see that eventually. I'm just not gonna run out and see it right away, obviously. But besides Jungle Book, there's like literally nothing out besides just like Deadpool still in theaters. There's Star Wars is still in theaters some places, in like the dollar theaters.
But isn't that kind of already out digitally?
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Well, we have a bunch of dollar theaters here that just play the old movies that you can go see for $1. So basically, it's like Redbox, except for you get to sit down in a place full of total strangers.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like there's just not much coming up this next week as far as Uncharted 4 comes out this week. But I don't have a PlayStation 4, so that doesn't really apply to me much. So.
I wish Uncharted was a game that I liked. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a great series, but it's just really not my cup of tea either.
Well, I did. I have played all 3 of them, and I would say that the people who say that the second one is the best one, I will agree with them. But really, it's just, It's like, it's like pizza. You got nothing else better to do? Go order some pizza. Yeah, it's all right. Like if you go through it the first time, you'll be satiated. But anything else after that, like the BioShock series, is kind of like that. If you go through it once, you pretty much did all you did.
But no, I mean, as far as digital media goes, that's about as much as I know that's coming out besides just the weekly animes and
anything that you've been reading?
Well, I know the latest chapter of One Punch Man came out yesterday, and I already read that.
Is that the web comic one, or is it?
No, that's the actual serialization.
Okay.
No, I'm way ahead. I've been reading that the webcomic one for a while, so I'm ages ahead on that. And so I already know what's coming. I just like to see it in a nice, pretty art. But besides that, I mean, all the manga that I'm reading currently, Naruto. Well, not Naruto. Boruto is about to come out next month. Bleach, Toriko, One Piece, Yamada and the Seven Witches, Nisekoi. What else am I reading? Oh yes, I picked up a new manga that I would very much recommend to you, Sterling, called Golden Kamu. It's Kamui.
Golden Camu?
Yeah.
I think that's how you say Camu.
Kamui.
Or
But,
Kamui, or whatever.
I don't know. I haven't heard it because it's not an anime. I haven't heard it verbalized, so. But it's beautiful art, number one, and it comes out on like a bi-weekly basis. At least from what I've seen, because I just read all 44 chapters the other day in like one sitting. It's very amazing. It's like
it looks like it's during World War II.
No.
It's well, I mean, like it looks like there's a guy with a World War I costume on.
Yeah, it's in between World War One and World War. Well, it's actually right before World War One, if you want to be accurate. Because all taking place in Japan, and it says struggles with, Russia at the time. But that really doesn't matter. That's just like the setting. And so basically, this guy, he's called, I think it's Sugimoto, the Immortal.
Yeah.
And so it's his adventures, because he finds out that there was recently some prisoners that broke out of jail, and they all have tattoos on their body that leads to a treasure that was worth about 100,000, whatever the exchange unit was back then. They mention it all the time. I just can't remember. But basically, from what the translators have let me know and what my own research is, it's about 100 billion yen in current times of gold. So he's trying to do that. He breaks off from the army, and the reason they call him the Immortal is because he hadn't died. He had gotten like several mortal wounds and hadn't died. He's like just covered in scars, like Vasha Stampede style. So he. Well, I don't want to ruin the plot too much, but basically his misadventures in Hokkaido territory. And him trying to find these tattoos while learning how to survive in the wilderness, because he can't really go back to civilization, because right now he's a wanted man. And they're in the boonies. And so it has a lot of interesting articles also about hunting, trapping, cooking while hunting, and everything like that. It's really like a hunter's like nerdy guide to the northern part of Japan and like what it has to offer and everything like that. But yeah, it's a pretty good read. I smashed it in about 5 hours, and so I'm waiting for the next chapter.
Okay. I was just asking if it was all done.
Nope.
But
I want more. Well,
I'll keep that on the watch. Anything else you're looking forward to?
I mean, if we don't have a podcast for the next 3 weeks, Overwatch comes out in like 17 days.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Not Battleborn.
The Battleborn's already out, brother.
What?
No,
I don't know.
Overwatch.
They looked similar to me.
Yeah, they are similar.
I haven't really looked up on it.
But everyone I know who I watch on YouTube has been playing Overwatch and loves it, so yeah.
Is Overwatch the one with the big, huge gorilla?
Yeah, it's one made by Blizzard.
Yeah.
Winston checks in.
Yeah. Yep.
Hi there.
All right. So is that all?
What about you, Sterling?
What I'm looking forward to is maybe looking for some courage somewhere underneath the carpet. I don't know, somewhere near.
Well, if you're looking for courage, I know a woman who is both beautiful and courageous.
Oh? Yes.
Miss Caitlyn Jenner. She has loads of courage.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh boy.
Knocked you off track. You're going to be talking about how you're going to try and suffer your way through Symphogear.
Yes. I was sidetracked as well by some people posting up Gundam Victory, aka Guillotine Gundam, pictures of stuff, and I have to swat them down with the hand of justice and rightfulness. But anyway, I guess I'll be looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to finishing JoJo Part 6 because I only have about halfway to go, I think.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Well, like I'm on the 7th volume and there's 17 volumes or 14, like around there. Mm-hmm. Like I'm a little bit less than halfway or maybe more than like exactly halfway, but either way it's gonna get done by this coming week. Hopefully, if I ever get the courage to get through Symphogear, I'll get to the freaking poll that I did.
Yeah, that's right. You're a little bit behind in your poll.
Yeah, I know. But I know that all those
Blackjack Gate 2016.
It might be 2017. I know. People out there listening, whenever you feel a breeze hit your cheek, that's me saying,
gasping.
Raise up your hands and give me your power so that I can finish freaking Symphogear. Other than that, is there any games that I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to returning Mad Max to my friend. Not really, no. Trying to go through Final Fantasy 9 again and finishing Final Fantasy Tactics again. Mm-hmm. Both of which are some of my favorite Final Fantasy games. I'm looking forward to what's gonna be new at the PlayStation Store this coming Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully it's something good, like that surprise I got when Mega Man Legends 2 came out. Oh boy. I hope there's something like that comes my way. But if not, then all I have to do is just freaking do Symphogear and
just do it.
I will eventually. But yeah. Oh yeah, you reminded me of something as well. I was looking forward to last week being in the art show, and I did the art show. Well, I was in the art show. I didn't do anything at the art show except stand around and wait for the presentations to begin.
Mhm.
And then I did the presentations as well. Yeah, it was a good thing. There was 6 awards for $25 gift cards for Michael's. It's a art store. There
I'm
was
aware.
Two $50 gift card winners and one $100 winner gift card people who entered. And yeah, it was a fun little evening. I got to show my aunt around this place. I have yet to get my gal pal or mi madre or mi padre anywhere near it, since they all have stuff to do. Like, well, the person who works at school that's closest is my aunt, so, you know, hey, you want to go check out my art and other people's art? It's pretty cool. And then that's what we did, and yep. Other than that, I'm looking forward to a whole month of my art being up there, as well as everybody else's. And yeah, finishing, hopefully, a painting that I'm doing for art class as well. That's about it.
You know what I like about Michael's?
What?
Is the strong scent of all the potpourri mixing together and assaulting your face when you first walk in the door.
Oh, well, we have it nice because there's like all that smelly stuff is like pretty much in the door hallway of like, there's like 2 doors and like the sliding doors that come out, and it's like pretty much right there, but it's at the place where it's sliding doors all the time and it's outside, so like all that's like freaking like thrown out the window and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, but like, yeah, like that gust of breeze ever hits my face, I can feel it. But yeah, that's all that I got. Josiah,
Yes.
what do we always say?
Don't get eliminated.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye, folks.